Mighty Morphing arcs could be completely done when it hits the 30th anniversary, and I've got to say, I'm kind of here for it, and I think that that would be the best way. Now, if you don't know what a story arc is, it's basically from the beginning of a character that comes along until the very beginning to the completion. And we've seen this happen in a lot of Power Rangers. SPD, to the point where we first meet Red and Z. Jack, that's his name, completely forgot. So you see the fact that they steal for the homeless and they want to help their friends, to the point where they become Power Rangers, they become heroes, and then they change their ways, and they literally, I think it's just Jack, he turns around and he wants to help a lot of different people. Same thing as that we've seen all the way through all the kind of characters and stuff like that. Now, when I look at Mighty Morphing, I still think there are character arcs that haven't been completed. Some have. We've seen Tommy, his arc has been completed multiple times, but majority of when we saw at the end of Ninja Steel, we saw him and Catherine together, so we know what happens, and effectively maybe his story arc was completed in Zeo when we saw him married to Catherine when he was a lot older, etc, etc, the old age thing. So with the Power Rangers now, the story arcs that I feel that were kind of left out was Trini, Zach, and Billy, and possibly maybe Kimberly. We know that Kimberly may have had hers completed when she went off to train with the Pan Global Games, and that's it. But really, Billy and Zach were kind of left to where it was. And this kind of makes me wonder, could the 30th completely close off their arc and move on? Possibly. So we know that Walter and David are back. That is 100% given. We've seen them, and they're saying that the 30th will conclude, or the 30th will happen, and that they're in it. So what could happen? Maybe Zach has, he moved on from the peace conference and he moved on to doing other things. Billy, we knew that at the end of, or near the end of Zeo, he was hit by an age ray or something like that, or it was the fact that he put the power coin into the robot, and obviously he then started rapidly aging later on, and that was only due to the fact of how David was treated on set, which I think was fucking horrible. Now, obviously, it looks like he's come back because the conditions are a lot better, and I would hope that they are. But we know that he was last on Aquitar getting help and stuff like that, so that he would remain young. So now we know that the 30th is going to bring him in. So will we see what he says? Did he get married? Did he have a partner? Did he do whatever? Who knows? Did Billy help the Aquitar Rangers a lot more than doing stuff? I feel like this would be a really good way to close the story arc of, Billy at least. With Trini, we know that we're going to see her daughter Yen. This is going to be absolutely fantastic. Only because we never knew what happened at the peace conference. So can you imagine if Yen says yeah, this all happened, or Zach turned around and was yeah, we did all this and we did so much good for the world. One of the things I would really like to see would be the whole thing of that they saw all the monster attacks over time. They knew all about this. Zordon, up to a point, was still in contact. Tommy still kept in contact, but the Rangers couldn't help. They didn't have their powers. They didn't know what they could do to kind of step in, because the monsters and the bad guys kept getting stronger, and they had Rangers and they didn't want to interfere because they all made this kind of pact not to kind of interfere at all until Tommy broke it, but Tommy was much later on in the series. But it would be really cool to see how they get their powers back, because we all know as soon as they're back, we want to see them morph. We want to see it's morphing time, and they shout out the powers and then they transform. Maybe they'll get brand new suits. I think that the main thing that you're going to get with the storyline of Yen is the fact that maybe they hand over their powers to her. We get one more morphed fight, we get one more thing that's going on, and then they pass on the powers and she gets all of them to then be the embodiment of MMPR moving forward. I would love to hear some stories of maybe Zach go oh man, when we were at the peace conference, your mother did this, or when she was a ranger, she did this, and going over so much of the past. But then at the very end of the episode, or whatever we're getting for it, I would love to see the conclusion of all the arcs, to make sure that they get their happy endings, the endings that we want as fans. And yes, if they do come back in at a much later date, if they decide, hey, we're going to be in the reboot, we're going to be in the cinematic universe, because after Cosmic Fury, they're going to be doing more episodes and stuff like that. can you imagine if they just pop back randomly, if filming permitted, or at least them in the suit that they could lend the voices? Now, a good thing that I would do right now is, if you were writing more stuff for later episodes later on, get them to voice it in ADR. You don't have to show them in suits. You know, you just basically have the stuntmen do their stuff. Have updated hayas and attacks and stuff like that, because I think that would work really well in the future if they couldn't do it or come back at all, and rather than getting them in ADR and stuff like that. But in general, I would really like to see the arcs of Power Rangers completely finish, to say, hey, we're completely done, we've got a happy ending, this is what happened. Do you know what would be really cool? Because I'm doing this all off script, by the way. If they reference the Omega Rangers, I would go, holy shit, that's amazing. Like, if they could, there was a thing, if I can find the image, I'll put it on screen, but there was that program that was going to happen after Power Rangers all running at the same thing, where they're all in the Air Force. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but could you imagine if they did that? If they referenced that? Oh dear God, as much as if it was so fucking bad, if they reference Omega Rangers or the Cyber Force or Cyber Squad, I think that was what it was going to be called. Could you imagine? I would absolutely love it. And if they shot some random footage for it, I would generally go, you're fucking done so well. That to me would be absolutely perfect. Just thinking about that would really make me happy. I doubt they're going to do it, but if they do, hot diggity darn, I would be all for it. But yeah, as I said, I would love to see the conclusion of all the story arcs. I would love to see what they're going to do, how they do it, and give them the happy ending that we want. And then maybe we never see them again because their stories are completely done. Like JDF, he is retired from Power Rangers, so his last story arc was in Ninja Steel, where we saw him holding hands with Catherine, running into the portal, and then obviously know that they had JJ, and then obviously that they have a grandson, and then Zeo is complete. So I would generally really like to see that. But yeah, that's my kind of thoughts on it. Would you like to see the story arcs be concluded for each character? Would you like them to throw in really random references to that Cyber Force thing that they did, or to the peace conference? They got to do the peace conference. If they don't, I'd be very disappointed. But yeah, like, I want Zach like on another planet just going, yeah man, the peace conference was so good, we did so much for the planet, it's fantastic. And then that's it. Just give us the peace conference. It has to be in there. If not, it's a missed opportunity. But yeah, I'd love to see it, and I'd love them to talk about maybe not the past battles. I wouldn't want a clip show, but I would love them maybe referencing stuff in there, like, oh man, like I had to fight this knight. Oh man, I had to get over my fear of fish. That's what I want to see. That's what I think would be amazing, and I'm going to leave it there. What are your thoughts? What would you like to see in this? Do you think that the arc should be concluded? Do you think they should put in random things? And with that, I'm going to end it there. See ya.
チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。以下のリンクから商品を入手することができます。